Let's move to the Atlanta Hawks. They started the season 9-1 and right now find themselves on a 7-game losing streak. During that time, they've come up short to the Suns, the Lakers, and the Jazz. Tim, can you put your finger on what's the issue with this Atlanta team?
They're not guarding anybody right now. There just seems to be no urgency on the defensive end. And when you think of the Hawks, you always talk offense, right? Spreading you out, shooting threes, passing the basketball. I think they ran into a little bit of a buzzsaw. They caught Toronto at a bad time. They caught Detroit at a bad time. They lost some close games down the stretch. I actually think Atlanta's going to be fine.
Okay.
But I think it all comes down to defense. Offensively, you got Dwight Howard. You got shooters all around them. I think that's going to be okay. You got to get some stops. If you look at the losses they had, you got teams score 130 points, 120 points. That's unacceptable. So you need to put a little bit more urgency on the defensive end. I think at the end of the day, the Hawks make the playoffs. As far as them making a run, I think that's highly unlikely.
Yeah, I think it's a chemistry issue. You lose Jeff Teague and you make Dennis Schroeder your starting PG. Was he ready to assume that role just yet?
But they got off to a great start. They won in Cleveland. How many teams are going to say that all season long? They've showed this promise. I just think they're going through an extended rough patch.
Okay.
Check out the games they've lost. They caught some teams at the wrong time, and they lost some close games. So what happens is your confidence starts to waver. You start playing bad basketball. I think they're in a funk. Now, it's been a long funk, but I think they're going to be able to snap out of it. I may be wrong. You may be right. Maybe this whole Dwight Howard thing, whenever a team loses and Dwight Howard's on the roster, you just point at him.
Look at the Lakers. Houston didn't do too much with him. And I think losing Al Horford, bringing in Dwight Howard, that's not like a fair exchange, so to speak. I don't think you gained as much as you lost when Al Horford departed and went to Boston. Now, to your point, I do trust Mike Budenholzer that he can put this team in a good position. Greg Popovich's disciple seems to really have everybody on the same page, playing within a system when it's going well. So I think they'll be okay, and it'll be an average team, but I don't think this will be the Hawks team that we saw when they had Horford, Millsap, and Teague playing all together at a high level.
Well, I think that was a team that was all on the same page. And I think bringing in Dwight Howard was a gamble. I think they looked at it as an educated gamble. You bring in a guy who's been to an NBA Finals that's got an immense talent, immense body.
Coming home.
Yeah, and maybe that's going to keep him motivated. It worked early on in the season. I have a hard time putting my finger on it besides guarding a little bit better and really carrying on defense because this team got off to a great start this year.
9-1 indeed. It certainly will be intriguing to see how it unfolds in the AT.